Following the trending news in the cryptoverse, we've got the biggest crypto deal ever to be closed by a private firm, as the Antigua-based crypto derivatives platform FTX conducted and raised the most significant private equity round throughout the history of the cryptocurrency industry. And it was almost doubling the previous record set by famous crypto hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger. The oversubscribed Series B fundraising round had over 60 participants, including the likes of Coinbase Ventures, VanEck, Circle, Paradigm, Sequoia Capital, Ribbit Capital, SoftBank, Third Point, Lightspeed Ventures, and many more. And on to the Ripple news with the SEC lawsuit. Attorney James K. Filan came out on Twitter to inform us about the latest events in the SEC lawsuit. Did the SEC have a secret meeting before this? Stick around to find out. Welcome back to Make Money Online. If you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on post notifications. We also have a completely free Discord group where we share daily signals with a community of like-minded traders and investors. You'll find a link for that in the video description. And now you can also support us on Patreon. We have several packages you can choose from according to your particular needs, and we have a special offer for our first 100 members, only $9.99 for our VIP Discord channels, where we share much more in-depth analysis and even one-on-one sessions. Be sure to check out the links in the video description and pinned comment. Shout out to James K. Filan for tweeting this, where he quotes a statement from Ripple that says, "We've reached an understanding, reflecting a compromise by all parties, pursuant to which the defendants may examine Mr. Hinman on various issues without triggering a privilege objection from the SEC." At this point, it's evident that the SEC had lousy press and zero amount of trust, but what is left to be cleared is whether this agreement is based on reaching an amicable settlement before the actual deposition. And then we have this news where the SEC commissioners are reprimanding the commission, saying it wasn't right for them to go on ahead to have all these enforcement actions without having a regulatory framework. Guys, this is now a case of the SEC versus the SEC. Scrolling a bit further down that piece, it says, Ripple lawyers submitted a supplemental letter on Monday to support the request for dismissal of an ongoing Securities and Exchange Commission case against them. The document notes a July 14th statement by the SEC Commissioners Hester Pierce and Elad Roisman opposing the agency's enforcement action against Blotex, the operator of the once popular cryptocurrency website CoinSchedule. The lawyers representing Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and co-founder Chris Larson highlighted the commissioner's criticism that the enforcement action against CoinSchedule did not pinpoint which tokens the site promoted were securities, as well as wider uncertainty about how tokens are defined. In that letter addressed to Judge Torres, the Ripple lawyers backing Bradley Garlinghouse and Christian Larson had cited a statement made by the SEC's commissioners on the case of the Blotex company, highlighting a few critical points after that, saying the public statement confirms the individual defendants' arguments that there was and remains significant regulatory uncertainty regarding when digital assets may be classified as securities by the SEC. Specifically, Commissioners Pierce and Roisman observed that the only certainty we see is that people have questions about how to comply with the applicable laws and regulations. There is a decided lack of clarity for the market participants around the application of the securities laws to digital assets and their trading. With respect to many digital assets, the application of the Howey test is not crystal clear. Although the commission staff had provided some guidance, the large number of factors and absence of weighting cut against the clarity the guidance was intended to offer. Market participants have difficulty getting a lawyer to sign off that something is not a security offering or does not implicate the securities laws. In this void, litigated and settled commission enforcement actions have become the go-to source of guidance. People can study the specifics of token offerings that become the subject of enforcement actions and take clues from particular cases. However, applying those clues to the facts of a completely different token offering does not necessarily produce clear results. Providing clear regulatory guideposts and then bringing enforcement action against people who ignore them is a better approach than the clue-by-enforcement approach that we have embraced to date and that today's settlement embodies. In short, we know folks have questions and confusion persists in the marketplace. It's important that we start providing clear and timely answers. These two SEC commissioners, Hester Pierce and Elad Roisman, who are also lawyers themselves, had gone on to say that there is a decided lack of clarity from market participants around the application of the securities laws to digital assets and their trading, as is evidenced by the requests each of us receives for clarity and the consistent outreach to the commission staff for no action and other relief. The Ripple lawyers followed suit on that note, adding that the commissioner's criticism of the agency's regulation by enforcement against the UK-based exchange platform CoinSchedule had not highlighted which tokens promoted on the exchange were deemed as securities, and why they had been deemed as such, as this has caused a wider range of regulatory uncertainty, just as seen in other cases, as is the case with Ripple and its native asset XRP. Further on, the lawyers representing the defendants in the Ripple vs. SEC case have written to the court, informing it of a supplemental authority that supports the individual defendants pending motions to dismiss the First Amendment complaint, adding that the SEC's aiding and abetting claim requires that it shows that the individual defendants knew or recklessly disregarded that Ripple's offerings and sales of XRP required registration as securities and that those transactions were improper. Considering the SEC's failure to adequately plead knowledge or recklessness on the part of the individual defendants, even after multiple tries, is enough reason for the judge to have a reconsideration on the case. Following the public statement by these two SEC commissioners, which serves as an affirmation that charging the individual defendants with an offense that requires knowledge or recklessness was, and still is, legally untenable. As the regulatory uncertainty that still lingers onto this very moment, it provides a hint that it could not have been possible for the individual defendants to have been aware at the time of the sale, years ago, that they were selling an illegal security asset. We have 2 out of the 5 commissioners on the SEC's payroll acknowledging that, at this very moment, the regulatory status of these digital assets remains uncharacterized, and that the only certainty we see is that people have questions about how to comply with the applicable laws and regulations. I hope this would vindicate Ripple and that the court would dismiss this case because, with the further adjournment, I see this lawsuit going nowhere. With all of this, it becomes evident that the individual defendants mustn't have been aware that XRP was an investment contract 8 years ago when the fintech startup raised $1.3 billion through the sale of XRP, on which the blockchain company has been charged to court for by the SEC back in December. And as proposed by Commissioner Pierce, a sure way to go about working through this issue is for the Commission to come up with a safe harbor along the lines of which would allow token offerings to occur, subject to a set of tailored protections for token purchasers. These SEC's commissioners, one an attorney specialized in financial market regulation, and the other a specialist in general corporate law, market structure, corporate governance, M&A, securities, derivatives, and contracts, are both coming out to say that given the Commission's unclear regulatory framework, it has no right to enforce regulations until it has a clearly defined structure for that. Overall, the value of XRP is looking excellent compared to other cryptocurrencies, as it has shown more signs of hitting explosive gains than many other cryptos across the board, which would probably skyrocket when Ripple wins the lawsuit against the SEC, which is likely to be the case given all of the events surrounding the litigation right now. It's only a matter of time before the SEC finally acknowledges that it has done wrong in all ramifications by going after the company. Luckily for us, that might be happening in Q4 of this year, when this bull season is likely to wrap up. This and other factors, such as Ripple's endorsements by the world's leading financial stakeholders and its partnerships with global financial institutions, would see the price of this digital asset reaching more extraordinary highs by the end of the year. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. If you have any questions or comments, let us know, and be sure to check out some of our previous videos as well. You can join our free Discord group via the link in the description, and now you can also support us on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That's how it goes. Hollywood perfect.